Alright, so we're going to be taking a look at my new addition here, which is, as you can see, a ball python. It's a female, picked up at the Reptile Expo. And this one was given to me for around 25 bucks, as you can see there. This dealer, I've been talking to him for a while, probably over a year, and I've been wanting a ball python from these guys, and they always have really nice, beautiful ball pythons, and I beeline there as soon as I got into the expo, and luckily they had a female. They actually had 3 females. I wanted a female, and got this one 25 bucks. Picked her up in an enclosure. This enclosure has actually killed 2 birds in 1 stone. It can house her for about a couple weeks, and I'm going to get her a bigger enclosure. And after she's out, my tangerine leopard gecko is going to be going in here. Or one of the other geckos, depending on how they kind of filling out there. I have to see. I might put the bigger of my albino leopards in here. And it's just a custom-made cage from these guys. Can't see that a little bit. Get the glare off of there. And I've talked to these guys before too. I always wanted one of these, so I kind of knew the exact enclosure I wanted to get it. It sticks up here and locks in, so it can't get out. It's actually pretty inexpensive. He gave it to me for 26 bucks, which is not bad for this one. It's going to get a lot of use out of it, so I'm going to put her in here and see how she does inside of this enclosure. And she looks beautiful. She's very calm. And pretty cool snake. Some beautiful colors on her. I love the patterns. Ball pythons are by far my favorite species of snake. And will not be my last one. Absolutely love these guys. They're awesome. She's in this, like I said, temporary until I can get her something a little bigger, but I didn't get this for her to be in it right now. This is actually meant for future geckos enclosure. So but it'll house her for right now, and I'll get her something a lot bigger in the next couple weeks. Right now she's doing just fine. And again, I love the patterns on here. On any ball python, I just think they're just amazing. She looked the best out of the bunch. There was 3 females. A couple of them were really, really dark, and not much life to the color. This one was just sitting right in the middle of the pile, and beautiful, beautiful python. I mean, this light isn't even really picking up how gorgeous this snake is. And she looks to be very healthy. Trusted dealer. Beautiful, beautiful snake.
So the name that I settled on was Coraline, and it's from the film. Has anyone seen it? You know exactly what I mean by Coraline. It's not Carolyn or Caroline, it's Coraline. And for some reason, when I got this one, it's the name that kept popping back up in my head. And if you hear a bird chirping, that's my cockatoo. But Coraline seemed to be the name that kept popping back in my head. I don't know why, but so I decided to name her that. As you can see, here's a different shot of her in the lighting, just to show off a little bit more. She is actually, her temperament is just really insane. I mean, ball pythons are docile by nature to begin with, but she is just so sweet and docile. It's insane. I'm looking forward to seeing how she's gonna feed in the future, because, you know, as we know, especially this time of year, it's in the winter time, and they do have their feeding lapses where they go on those long droughts from feeding. So I'm kind of curious to see how she's gonna eat. From what I'm told, she's a good eater, not a great one. So I'm assuming she's going to take some time to take off from food, but we're gonna see next week. I'm gonna try to feed her for the first time. We'll see how she feeds. If she doesn't eat, I will not be surprised at all. Alright, so let's get on to the geckos. And we're going to start here with the new bedding I have for them. Standard football field for them. And let's get to the geckos. And this is Samwise Gamgee. This is the biggest and my first Tremper albino Leo. This gecko is the sweetest of the bunch and the most docile. Doesn't eat all that well, but eats fair enough. He's just not a very aggressive eater. And here's Toothless, the one on the bottom. That's the small of the two Tremper albinos. And then we have Quasi, which is a Tangerine Leo. And I say Tangerine with a little bit of hesitation. I want to see what this gecko turns into being. I was told it was just a straight up leopard gecko, but I've had multiple others tell me that this is a Tangerine. I'm not sure. Either way, it's alright, no matter what it turns out to be. But it so far is starting to look more like a Tangerine, but I'm going to see what it grows out to be before I actually label it as a Tangerine. I put Tangerine on here just because that's what I was told by some people I trust, so we'll see. It doesn't really matter one way or another. But as you can see here, she's in, or he or she is in pre-shed. And this is after the shed. Say hi, Hayden.
Hi.
It's my son here. And as you can see, the colors pop a little bit more. If you know anything about these geckos, they do tend to change a lot. Some more than others. The albinos here are pretty much, they look pretty much the same. But the quote unquote Tangerine back there has kind of changed a little bit over the last couple of weeks. It's looking a little bit different each time it sheds. She or he, the other two are males. The Tremper albinos are males. The Tangerine is actually, they haven't, so far I'm saying it's swinging towards the female side, but it's still a little too early. She's a little small, so I want to kind of wait a little bit just to see. But she's starting to get a lot of orange, red orange, burnt orange coloration on her. You can't see it here, but this was filmed about a couple weeks from me doing this commentary actually, so the color on her has kind of changed a little bit. She's actually a lot more burnt orange red, so she may in fact be a Tangerine. I had to see in the future, but I don't know. I had to see. All three of them are just really, really sweet. I'm actually going to remove the Quasi from this enclosure, the one you're looking at here, and put her in her own enclosure, and this is the one that's going to go into the ball python enclosure once she's moved out. So let's move back to the snakes here, and this is Naga, my snow corn snake, and she in this shot is actually just got done, or actually starting the process, of shedding, and she is really starting to look nice. And the colors are not her lamp in there doesn't pick up the colors really well here. When she's actually out in the fluorescent lighting, she looks really, really sweet. But she actually she had trouble shedding again. I changed her enclosure up a little bit. I've been doing a series on her, documenting every month of her life for the first year of her life, and you can see on her new enclosure setup that I have for her. The next time I bring that one out, and I put a lot more moss in there for her, and giving a little bit more humidity in there. She seems to like that, so now you know that until I started putting her inside of a little bin to help her shed, and she would go around in there, and the humidity, and she would drink up the water droplets off of the sides of the little tub there. So I put some extra moss in there, and I wet that and make sure I mist her down a little bit. She seems to really love that. I'm feeling I was keeping it a little bit too dry in there for her under the basking side, and now she needs a little bit more humidity and a little bit more water in there for her. So she has that now, and she seems to be really happy with that setup. And finally here we have Pacquiao, my Pac-Man frog. Now this little guy here is one of my favorite animals in my collection, just simply because of his personality. He is so laid back, and I can taunt feed him, which I as you can see there, I don't like to do it just because he does get really aggressive with his feedings. I usually only taunt feed him just to show show him off here on the Reptile Orb, or show people what he's doing, and show how he eats. But normally I do not tongue feed him. I will put his crickets in there, or I'll put his worms in there, and he'll eat them as he goes. He prefers crickets. He actually really likes the crickets. The worms are cool for him, but I notice he really, for me to get him to even move around, I put the crickets in there, and that's when he actually moves. Any other time, the only time he moves is when he jumps inside of his water dish there, or his little bath area, and he'll do what he's got to do in there, use the bathroom, clean himself up. But here again, I'm tongue feeding him again. And as you see, he's very fast, and I don't really want him to hurt himself on those tongs there. So I try not to do it if I don't have to. But like I said, for the video, it's fine just to show you guys that how he eats and how he's doing. But he's actually pretty cool. He's getting big now. He's starting to get a little more weight to him, and he's right now this time of year he's very inactive. He'll bury himself in that substrate. I keep it very humid, very wet in there. He absolutely loves it. He's a perfectly healthy little frog and doing extremely well. There he is, swallowing his food. So that'll do it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the Reptile Orb. Take care. Have a good one.